as of late, WWE has been giving their bigger shows two nights. Like WrestleMania and SummerSlam have this treatment. WrestleMania has had it since 2020. SummerSlam was originally announced to have the 2026 edition as the first ever two night event, but for some reason I can't find that info. So that has to be a Mandela effect. But anyway, why not do like a two-part series of booking these big shows with two nights? Up next, Wrong Big Show. Today's actual topic, Survivor Series War Games. The War Games match revitalized Survivor Series in a way because they basically did brand warfare for quite a while. However, they only really did that perfectly 1 year. That is 2019. So I took it upon myself to book a two-night Survivor Series that combines the two aspects. So there will be 5 matches per night. And I included a traditional Survivor Series match on each night, as well as a War Games match on each night. So let's go on to our first match of the night, the 5-on-5-on-5 Men's Survivor Series match. Team Raw has Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, Damian Priest, and Sheamus. Team NXT has Trick Williams, who will be the sole survivor of this match. Tony D'Angelo, Wes Lee, Ethan Page, and Nathan Frazier. And then Team SmackDown has Cody Rhodes, Carmelo Hayes, Randy Orton, LA Knight, yeah, and Kevin Owens. Now, why do I pick Trick Williams as the sole survivor? Because he is a future main eventer on the main roster. And this would be a great way to showcase to people that he can definitely hang with the likes of Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and everyone else in this field. In fact, I would have the final two be Trick Williams and Gunther. Which Trick Williams would actually roll up Gunther, but they have a very competitive last 5 minutes. So that puts NXT up 1-0. Match 2. Rhea Ripley, the Women's World Champion, will beat NXT Women's Champion Julia and the WWE Women's Champion Bianca Belair. Now, these three are insanely talented women. Now, I know you could put Io Sky in this match, or Asuka, maybe even Charlotte Flair. I have plans for Io and Asuka later in the match, and later in the show. But this is my fantasy booking. If you have your own fantasy bookings, please leave them down in the comments. But I would have Rhea Ripley pin Bianca Belair. So that way, Julia is protected. And at this stage in her career, Bianca can definitely take a loss and it wouldn't affect her. But I feel like this could potentially be the match that steals the show. Like, not just for the night, but for the entire weekend. Match 3. We got the War Raiders. Mark Coffey and Wolfgang of Gallus. And then the winners of the match, the Street Profits. Now, I just thought that these three teams would tear the house down if done right. Now, I would have Montez Ford pin Mark Coffey of Gallus to win this match. Which, I know Gallus isn't taken too seriously down in NXT, but this is a great way to protect the Viking Raiders and reestablish the Street Profits as a legit threat to any set of tag titles. Which, trust me, it's needed. Up next, we have the Creed brothers, who are the World Tag Team Champions in this scenario, taking on the Lucha Bros, who are the NXT Tag Team Champions, and the Motor City Machine Guns, who will win the match, and they are the WWE Tag Team Champions. Now, I don't necessarily have a specific timeline of the show. I did take some liberties with signing some people, because that's what fantasy booking's all about. Taking people that you want to see and putting them against people that are in a certain company. And trust me, my fantasy booking will get a lot weirder than this. But I would have... God, who did I have taking the pin in this match? Alright, so Chris Sabin would pin Brutus Creed to win this match. Now, I see big things going on in the future of Brutus Creed, while everyone is basically just hyping up Julius Creed as like the next Kurt Angle. But if they ever decide to split them up, I know they both will have bright futures. However, this is to protect the new team in WWE, and honestly, as a part of American Made, they haven't picked up too many wins. And the main event for night 1, we have Damage Control, who I have winning this match, taking on Fatal Influence. I don't know why I keep wanting to call them Fatal Attraction, but it's Fatal Influence and Cora Jade versus the team that shouldn't have been broken up by them releasing Indy Hartwell. In this universe, she wouldn't be released. She would be staying side by side with Candice LeRae as they join forces with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. However, this is going to be the biggest moment of the match. Kairi Sane will hit an insane elbow from the top of the War Games structure onto Nia Jax and pinning her. That is long-term storytelling at its finest. Because Kairi Sane has been injured multiple times by Nia Jax. And I think that would just be icing on the cake. Our scoreboard for night 1, we have Raw with 2, NXT with 1, and SmackDown with 2. Alright. So, night 2, match 1. Team Raw will have Liv Morgan, Natalya, the Women's Tag Team Champions Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria. Team NXT, which will have the winners Zarya, Stephanie Vakir, Jordan Grace, Miko Satomura, and Kalani Jordan. And SmackDown will have Bayley, Naomi, Jade Cargill, Women's United States Champion Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven. Oh yeah, I think I forgot to say that Zarya's the NXT Women's North American Champion. But anyway, the reason why I have those 3 as the sole survivor, being Zarya, Stephanie Vakir, and Jordan Grace, because they are the future of NXT. Like, no disrespect to Kalani Jordan. She's still young, she's still green. But she's not hyped up as much as those 3. Miko Satomura, phenomenal talent. However, she's more focused on her own wrestling promotion, and I respect that. So, I would probably... Oh, excuse me. I would probably write her out of the match by having her brawl with Jade Cargill and neither of them being able to get back up to their feet. Just to see who is the stronger of those 2. But anyway, I originally booked these matches before the Women's Intercontinental Championship was announced. So, I really only planned on... Well, I mean, I did have plans to just put these champions in the match and have the women's tag titles be on the line. But then I kind of figured that already cuts out a lot of the women's division just because of this match and the main event of night 1. But anyway, once this was introduced, I was like, man, do I want to go with a triple threat between those 3? Now, once again, that kind of makes my options limited. So I just made Lyra Valkyria Intercontinental Champion in this case. Long story short, Raw kind of threw off my edits or my match card. Up next, Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker representing Raw. Oba Femi, the North American Champion representing NXT, and who wins by pinning SmackDown's United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I hate having to have Shinsuke take the pin, but you don't really have any other options in this kind of match. However, it's not going to be an easy job getting the pin. This is going to be a slugfest. And trust me, so many people would be thrilled if this match actually happened. And yes, I know two of these guys already have renders with their respective titles. But that would have just thrown off the size proportions that I had to do. So, just to keep everything all balanced out, I just did some quick edits. But even though Shinsuke's taking the pin, he's going to get a lot of offense in this match. Now, this is where I say my booking is going to get weird. John Cena, who will most likely just be a free agent in his final year, will be representing Raw for this match, as he takes on the winner and new NXT signee Joe Hendry, as he pins SmackDown's Logan Paul. Now, why do I say Joe Hendry beats Paul? Because I want to see him get pinned. Now, I have this kind of booked where Joe Hendry wins the TNA title, and Cena accepts the challenge that he's been putting out. However, this is like towards the end of Joe Hendry's TNA run. And the match doesn't end clean. The winner of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, who currently it's Frankie Kazarian. I don't know if he even used his opportunity yet. But he would cash it in the middle of the match to pin Joe Hendry and take the title. Wait, no. Oh no, I would have it where Logan Paul would interfere in the match. Then Frankie Kazarian picks up the scraps and takes the title, setting up this triple threat. Because Logan Paul wants to face John Cena and prove that he is a bigger success than Joe Hendry. Yeah, I had to actually go back into my notes that I have, like right here, just to make sure I was getting that all right. And this next match might be a little weird to some people, but boom, Night 2, Match 4, the winner, Finn Balor, who is your World Heavyweight Champion, is taking on NXT Champion Javon Evans and WWE Champion Seth Rollins. Now, I did have to do like a couple trades to make some of these matches work. Seth Rollins going to SmackDown was one of those trades. excuse me. So, I have Finn Balor pinning Javon Evans to win this match. And the point for Raw after, I believe it was 3 matches in a row that NXT won. Yes. And this is basically just a universe where Finn Balor never got injured. And he had a great Universal Championship run before he lost it to Kevin Owens. But with that injury never happening, he actually stays in the main event where he belongs. But yes, he'd still win the Intercontinental US and tag titles. But he'd be more involved in the world title picture where he actually wins the title. And besides, this would be an absolute banger. If you guys don't watch NXT, watch a Javon Evans match. I kid you not. He can bounce all over the place. He is incredible. And if I'm not mistaken, he's, 19, 20, somewhere along that age range? I'm going to look it up. Javon Evans. He is 20 years old. Man, and I'm over here 23 years old with horrible knees and hips. And I can't even do anything that he does. But anyway, this is also a potential match of the night or match of the show. And now the main event. That's right. Bloodline versus Bloodline versus Bloodline. We have the OG Bloodline with Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Jimmy and Jey Uso versus the next Bloodline, which is stylized with a smaller E within NXT, with Hikuleo, Zilla Fatu, Lance Anoa'i, and Famiko Fatu. And for those of you who are curious about the relations to the Bloodline, Hikuleo is the brother of Tama Tonga. Zilla Fatu is the son of Umaga. Lance Anoa'i is the second cousin of Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa. And the Miko, from what I've seen, is the son of Rikishi, making him the brothers of the Usos and Solo Sikoa. And then we have the current Bloodline, who win the match: Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and the infamous Tonga Loa. The man who I was debating on putting every title on. But anyway, and no, it's not going to be Solo Sikoa pinning Roman Reigns again. This time it's going to be Jacob Fatu pinning Roman Reigns. I like Solo. Don't get me wrong. But I personally think Jacob Fatu is a bigger threat than Solo Sikoa. But with this War Games match, everyone will have an opportunity to shine. And besides, if you don't want to have like a third bloodline faction, then you could really just kind of put some of these members with Roman or some of these members with Jake, with Solo. But this match idea is the reason why this video even exists. Because I didn't want to just settle on one bloodline faction versus another. This is a great way to introduce new members of the bloodline for future generations. Because if you think about it, this bloodline story has been going on for well over 4 years. And I don't think it's ever going to stop. They'll just get new members, get new feuds, except they're going to feud with Kevin Owens for the rest of time. But anyway, the winner of the weekend is NXT with 4, while Raw and SmackDown get 3 apiece. Which means NXT won the Men's Survivor Series match, the Women's Survivor Series match, the Men's Mid-Card Championship Triple Threat, and then the Logan Paul versus John Cena versus Joe Hendry match. But with that being said, how would you book a 2-night Survivor Series? You can leave your comments down below on how you would book it. You don't have to do the brand warfare stuff like I wanted to do. You can do it however you want. Just try to limit it to like the usual 5 matches per night. Except for like when it comes to WrestleMania, those are like 7 matches a night. But with that being said, would you also like to see me do this for the Royal Rumble? Because I think that would be a very interesting concept. But thank you all so much for watching the video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment your predictions or any other video ideas you have, and I will catch you in the next one.